This video has seen some delays. Actors strike, and the holidays, and then life, and then more life, and then messing up, and in this episode, I am going to take you back in time to the summer of 2023. It is now March of 2024. Summer 2023, Lindsay? Take it away. Oh, this is gonna be great, you guys. This is gonna be so good. Oh, it's gonna look ridiculous on me. But I don't care. I gotta do it. Hello and welcome. I'm Lindsay Crane, and these are my retro craft dreams. I have a monster of a project in mind for you, and I'm really excited about it. I wasn't sure at first that I was gonna go through with doing it, but stars were aligning and materials just kept falling into place. And so today I'm introducing you to my Cool Times Barbie project. If you're not familiar, this is she. This is my Cool Times Barbie straight out of 1989, as is probably pretty obvious. Sadly, we're missing a leg warmer. She's a little rough shape, but you know, she made it through pretty decent. A while back, I finally got some things out of my mom's attic that had been there for decades. And I did a video on the craft supplies that I found. What I didn't show you was that I also unearthed my Barbie bin. Oh, it was such a hit of nostalgia to finally get in there and see all of these Barbies again. Some were missing. And I don't know what happened to my 57 Chevy. I got the seats and not the car, so that's a bummer. But anyway, as I was getting my favorite Barbies out of this bin, I was reminded of YouTubers I've seen in the past creating their own Barbie gowns. The one I saw most recently, sadly, her channel is now deleted. Nicole McKay, if you're out there, I know you don't watch this channel, but I'm still thinking of you. And I still remember your holiday Barbie gown that you did last year. And I was kind of feeling a little inspired by some of these gowns, but I don't need a gown. I don't need a gown. I have nowhere to wear a gown, and I can't justify doing that. Then I came across my Cool Times Barbie and, you know, had a light bulb moment. Like, it would be so fun to make this outfit, and you know, because it's all separates, I could actually wear some pieces. I could wear the pants, I could wear the top, maybe the jacket. Okay, this thing, not so much. But it was still just a flight of fancy, a whim. And I didn't really have any notion of actually going through with it until I went to a Walmart. I hadn't been to one in years because we didn't have them in Seattle, at least not downtown. And I thought, hey, this store has a craft department. Let's go see what they have for future reference. And lo and behold, all right, I guess I'm doing it. 75 cents a yard. Yeah, 75 cents a yard for some hot pink costume satin. I bought what was left on the bolt. And a project was born. The next step then was to actually break this thing down and figure out how to do it. And her outfit has 6 parts that I'm going to make. We've got the jacket, the peplum suspendery vest thing, the pants, the leg warmers, the earrings, and today we're going to start with the top. It's just a little cropped tank top, but the main thing is the graphic. So what are my options for making a top with this graphic? Ideally, a screen printed tank top would be just exactly what it needs. Screen printing is sadly not within my realm of crafting supplies or experience, so that one's out. So the other options I was exploring were hand painting, needlepoint, or embroidery. Was there something else? Not sure. But hand painting, I'm not exactly skilled enough with painting straight lines, never mind on fabric. It's gonna look like a hand-painted t-shirt that it's not gonna look like what I want. Needle pointing would be really fun, but I've never tried mounting needlepoint onto a top, and I think for a tank top, it just would be too stiff. Like for a denim jacket, perfect. But for a tank top on the front, not so much. Kind of the same issue with embroidery. Again, it's probably going to be quite a bit thicker than I would like. Not to mention the fact that it would probably take a really long time with a lot of stitches, and I wasn't feeling that either. So we had painting, needlepoint, embroidery, all of which would be on a, sewn tank top. And in line with things just kind of falling in place for this project, I saw this picture online from Stitch by Stitch Volume 2, an ice cream top. And it is a knit top with the ice cream stitched in duplicate stitch. So I thought I could knit my first sweater and I could do the graphic design in duplicate stitch embroidery. First of all, I just want to make this sweater and probably will add that to my sweater making list at some point in the future. But for this project, I'm just taking inspiration because it's right here. So I thought, okay, it's decided. I'm going to knit this tank top and duplicate stitch the design on the front. So the next thing I need is a pattern for a knit top. I knew that first of all, it needed to have a high enough neckline and a solid front in plain stockinette so that I could stitch the design on top of it. And I also thought, okay, I don't do crop tops. It's not my thing. So I'm not looking for that. And so since it's not going to be accurate to the doll, I really wanted to make sure that it was an 80s style sweater. Let me tell you, I scoured eBay and Etsy looking for the right knitting pattern for a tank top. You can find a lot of pattern books online, but you can't always see every page in them. And I finally realized I did have something, maybe not perfect, but certainly serviceable already in my stash. And that is from this Phildar 1985 pattern magazine. In it, there is this little tank top. And it's got cables down the sides, but I think all I need to do is just eliminate those cables. And then it's just a pretty 80s style. It's got the blousing right here. So other than that, it's just a basic, straight 80s tank top. I do think that I'm going to make a couple alterations. I am pear-shaped, so I will probably make the waistband ribbing a little bit wider. I like that it seems like it's going to be pretty straightforward. I don't have to worry about sleeves, of course. And all I have to do, like I said, is eliminate these cables. So I think it will be a really great first pattern for me to attempt because, side note, I have never, ever followed a knitting pattern before. They confuse the heck out of me. So this will be a little interesting. Okay, so we've got the plan for what to do. We've got the pattern. Now we need the yarn. The pattern is for Phildar Canellis, which I can't find anywhere at this point in time. I don't know what it looks like, what it feels like, but it does have the gauge, of course. 26 stitches for 4 inches. Because this is a summery outfit and it's a tank top, I want to make sure that I use a nice breathable yarn. So I wanted to find something that was cotton or bamboo or linen, but I also want it to be soft because I like clothing that's comfortable. And so I didn't want to go shopping online. I had to find something locally that I could feel. And that did mean that my options were quite limited. But fortunately, Lion Brand Coboo is really nice and soft and comes in white. So I'm going to stitch it in the Lion Brand Coboo. I've already done a gauge swatch. It's going to be perfect, I think. My row gauge doesn't quite match up and I don't know how to fix that. However, the pattern just goes in measurements. It doesn't go by rows. And I'm probably going to make it longer anyway. So I think we are good to go on that, and I'm just gonna make it with some lovely, soft, sparkling white Coboo. So I've got my yarn all figured out. I've got my sweater pattern selected. You have listened to me yammer on, and I'm gonna have to chop this down. Oh my goodness. There's nothing left to do now but get knitting. Yes, this is me trying to knit a white sweater with a black cat. Dude, what you doing? Dude, you know I can't. Can I have my sweater, please? Can I have it? Why are you on it? Here is the back side. Turned out okay, I think. I hope. I finished the 2 inches of rib here and was about to figure out how to do my increases. This is what I copied down from the pattern, and then this is the work that I did to figure out what I was changing. But when I cast on for the front side, I went by this. And I only cast on 138 stitches instead of the 148. So it is potentially not going to be wide enough. Also, I think my tension is a little, well, it's a lot more even, but also a little bit tighter on this half than it was on the first. To compare, here is the ribbing on the back panel with the ribbing for the front panel. Yes, the front panel looks so much nicer. But this just has so much more give. Even stretched, there's at least an inch less width on this one. I decided to just say screw it and not frog it. I pinned the back to me and then put this on the circular needles so that I could stretch it out. And I don't know if it's going to be too tight, but it wasn't like stretched all the way. So I might not be perfectly happy with it, but if for some reason it doesn't fit, I'll just not stitch the ribbing shut and leave it with a little, you know, what is that called? A vent or something. So I have gone ahead and done my increases. So the hard part is done for now. Now I can just get into some straight knitting, just doing stockinette for inches upon inches. So this is actually, a lot of people get bored with that, but for me, I like the mindless knitting. Here's the back of the back, and you know, I'm not a beginner knitter, but I'm still kind of a novice, so you can see I've had some tension issues. Nothing too drastic though. However, in the front, my knitting seems to have drastically improved, minus the one increase that I thought I did the same as the others, but somehow didn't. So yeah, good news is my knitting seems to have drastically improved. Bad news is that I think it's affected my gauge. And I think the front is now going to be smaller than the back. If I had to have 2 different sizes, I would definitely have preferred a smaller back. So, not sure how this is going to turn out. I mean, yeah, this has been, you know, hanging out, floating around for a while, but, yeah. I mean, this looks so good, but I didn't measure it to fit looking like this. I measured it to fit looking like this. I don't know, I hope it fits. We'll see. Worst case scenario, I knit a couple of side panels or gores or something, and, you know, just have a couple extra seams, whatever. I could also potentially rip this back to be the front. That way, at least the front would be a little bit bigger. But for now, I'm just going to keep going and see where it gets me. Okay, this is where I'm at, and of course, where Toby is at. I think I'm ready to shape the armholes on this one. I'm having a little trouble measuring For, you know, one very obvious reason. Yes. Yes. One very obvious reason. But also, yeah, I do think my gauge definitely tightened up between panels, and I don't get it at all. But, fingers crossed, it still fits. It's kind of disappointing. So, yeah, you can't have that. Oh. He brought his ball. You want your ball? Can you get your ball? I can't see it. You want your ball? You want that ball? Yeah, you want that ball. You want that ball. What was I saying? And he's brought the ball back. Yes, he plays fetch. Go get it. You dropped it. Go get it. Go get it. Okay, I'm getting close, and yet I'm still so far because that is still plain white, and it's not supposed to be. Cat tree behind me. This is fancy. So I moved it to my circular needles that I hate working on, but you know, they're useful for this. Roughly pinned it so it does fit. You know, it's not exactly the fit I wanted because of the ribbing issue, but it fits. Pretty soon I will be able to see where the neckline comes to, so I can figure out the placement of the graphic and determine how large and how many stitches I will need to do. Well, sadly this video is lacking in final reveal because I still need to do the duplicate stitch. And I feel like it's going to be a lot easier to do that with the front panel still separate. So here's as close as we're going to get to a final reveal in this video. We have 2 panels and 3 pieces of ribbing on waste yarn. So here's all the primary knitting done. And you're gonna have to come back next time to see the duplicate stitch graphic. I thought I was going to publish this video as a complete project, but I had another delay and I just didn't want to wait any longer. So I'm splitting it in 2. I don't know if the scarring is showing up, but yes, I had to frog some duplicate stitching. More on that in the next video. If I had known that I was going to split this episode into 2 parts, I might have just pushed out this part a little earlier, but at least now you don't have to wait as long to see the conclusion. I did in fact complete all of the knitting even after I knew that I was going to have to put this project on hold, because I was worried about my tension changing again if I put it down and picked it back up, although I'm still quite surprised at how much my tension changed just between the back and front panel, even though I think I only waited like maybe a couple days between. I am very pleased with how the knitting itself turned out. I cannot wait to see if it actually fits and what it looks like, but like you, I will just have to wait and see. Make sure you come back next time so you can see the duplicate stitching and the assembly of this sweater, and I can finally try it on. And then in a future video, I will work on the next portion of this outfit. So when part 2 is finished, that video will appear right here. If it is not there yet, you might want to subscribe to make sure you don't miss it. And in the meantime, YouTube thinks that you'll like this video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye. Anticlimactic ending.